Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Executive Policy Committee for December 11th, special meeting of the EPC to deal with the preliminary 2025 budget update. And do we need a motion, Madam Clerk, for the minutes of the previous meeting?
No, it's a special meeting.
Special meeting? Okay, all right. Then we have just one item today on the agenda, but before we do that, I'll entertain a motion to excuse Councillor, thank you very much, Councillor Rollins, who's away. All in favor, aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you. Okay. What we'll do is turn it over to Councillor Roddy, our Finance Chair, to introduce the motion, and then we'll have some discussion on it.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I would like to move that the preliminary 2025 budget update, operating, reserves, and capital be tabled and forwarded to the following budget review process. As written here, do I need to read it out? I'd just like to take a moment to thank, first of all, members of the budget working group, specifically Councillors Evan Duncan and Matt Allard, for their time, energy, and effort through this whole process, as well as the phenomenal staff support we received. Our new CFO, who only started last summer, was thrown into quite the process. Quite eye-opening, I'm sure, and I certainly do appreciate your patience, your level-handed at everything we went through, as well as the team of people behind you, specifically Lisa, Jody, and Tammy. So I'd like to thank you and your staff. The interim CAO was there throughout to provide support, and certainly want to appreciate him, as well as other folks in the civic organization, corporate controllers in the various departments, senior leaders in the department organizations. Being a budget update, it wasn't as thorough as the multi-year process we went through a year ago, but still a very involved process nonetheless. The budget presenting today is a challenging one. We're facing cost escalations, promised new financial funding arrangements for municipalities have not materialized, and unfortunately, the tough decision of increasing property taxes 5.95% is before us today in the draft budget. So over the course of the next month and a half, there'll be an opportunity for the various standing policy committees to meet, to review what's in the budget for each of those particular areas, as well as an opportunity for Winnipeggers to provide their feedback at those meetings, as well as the Executive Policy Committee. So with that, I table the budget.
Thank you. I'll let others speak, and then I'll maybe conclude before we go back to call the question. Any other comments at all? Okay, Councillors Lukes and Councillor Santos.
Sure. Thank you very much. I, too, want to thank everyone that was involved in the budget process. It was very difficult. A few years ago, it really became clear to me that down the road, very, very hard decisions would have to be made. It's not ideal that it happens under any mayor, but I don't think I know a mayor doesn't want to raise taxes. Councillors don't want to raise taxes, but we want things in the city. We want to take care of our infrastructure. We want safety, and I think this budget covers it. I think the Public Works Department's the big winner in the budget here, with the funding that is being allocated to roads, over $1 billion in roads for the next 6 years. That's positive, but that means a lot of construction's coming. So I'm incredibly pleased to see the numbers pan out for the active transportation component. We've gone, when I first started many years ago, about 20 years ago, there was $100,000 in the budget. And now when we look at the active transportation budget, when we look at what we've are adding in through roads, our roads budget, through our waterways and bridges budget, we're up to $92.5 million. And I think that's incredible, and I think that acknowledges the hard work of many, and mostly acknowledges the work of residents coming down and talking to us and advocating for alternative modes of transportation. The road safety budget over the 6-year span is up to $36.5 million. I am beyond thrilled about that. We've got a lot of roads here that we need to convert, to make safer, and we've got the funding, we've got the staff to do it. Transit, again, I think Public Works is the winner in this budget here. We've got increase in the safety team. We've got 19 more buses over 6 years that we're going to add to our fleet. We've got 2 more routes coming on, which is very exciting, and we've got, well, this really isn't in my ballywick, but Neighborhood Action Team. I'm thrilled about the Neighborhood Action Team. We've got some working right now, just ramping up, and we'll be adding 15 more to it. So, yeah, it's, when you look at what other cities are seeing for tax increases, when you look at what what they've had over the past, let's say, 10, 15 years, due to a lot of reasons, we haven't increased that amount. It's time to make a modest increase, and I'm supportive of it. I'm supportive of all the work that the Budget Working Group did. I think we've really come together collaboratively and really are focusing on the big picture of the city. So I guess I could go on and on because there are a lot of good things in the budget, a lot of good safety things and an awful lot of good public works items. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, the Chair, Mr. Mayor. Today, as we table the 2025 city budget, we have an opportunity to highlight the priorities that matter most to Winnipeggers. This budget invests significantly in public safety, road renewal, and community-based crime prevention, reflecting what I've always believed. Winnipeggers not just want a fiscally balanced budget, but they want a socially balanced budget as well. So I want to thank the Budget Working Group, the CFO, and the Public Service for achieving just that. Right now, Winnipeg is facing tough times. Persistent cost pressures and our heavy resilience on property taxes to fund municipal services have brought us to a challenging juncture. We cannot continue to rely on the Financial Stabilization Reserve Fund to fill funding gaps. Without a new funding formula from the province of Manitoba, we are seeking innovative ways to sustain essential municipal services. That's why I'm grateful that this budget does not further erode our services, but instead it focuses on maintaining and strengthening what matters most to our community. As the new chair of Community Services, I wanted to highlight some of the critical investments under this portfolio. Public safety. I want to thank the provincial government for funding. We will be hiring 24 new firefighters, ensuring adequate coverage citywide. In addition to significant capital investments, we'll support the purchasing of 4 new pumpers and a ladder truck, as well as the construction of a new fire hall in Waverly West. Urban forestry. We are making significant strides in protecting and enhancing our urban canopy, increased funding for tree planting along boulevards and in parks, coupled with the purchase of additional tree pruning truck, which will reduce the tree pruning cycle from 21 years to 7 years on boulevards and 12 years in parks. This is vital for maintaining the health of our city's green spaces. Investing in our youth. This budget continues to support the YMCA's Downtown Youth Program with $150,000 in annual funding. But more importantly, it allocates an additional $1 million for recreational programming in high-need neighborhoods, an investment that I believe will have a profound impact. In addition, I'm pleased to highlight our continuous investments in community centers and the construction of new spray pads as part of the Strategic Priorities Action Plan. This investment aligns with our commitments to increasing funding to implement the Winnipeg Recreation Strategy. While I won't go into all the details here, they'll be discussed at the upcoming Standing Policy Committee next month. But for those who are interested, I really encourage you to review the capital budget book that's available online, pages 114 to 130, outlining many, many significant investments in community services that I'm very proud of. Lastly, I'm a firm believer that it takes a village to raise a child. By investing in our children, we empower them to rise above poverty and become contributing members of society. This is especially critical as we face troubling stories about youth violence and gangs in our children. Programs like this investment in the youth recreation programming will make a positive difference by providing young people with safe spaces and opportunities to thrive. So in closing, I express my deep gratitude to the Budget Working Group, the Public Service, for prioritizing the needs of our community. This budget demonstrates that even in challenging times, we can make meaningful investments in our city's future, ensuring a balanced approach in both fiscal responsibility and social equity. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. Councillor Duncan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. First off, thank the Public Service for their hard work on this budget and every budget. I've had the experience now with being a part in 2 budget working groups, and the hours that are put in, not only the meetings with the elected officials, but also throughout all hours of the days and evenings, so I commend them for that. Thank you very much. Water, waste, and the environment, our priority is the latter of that, the environment. We are making significant investments into infrastructure to promote the environment and to be conscious of the environment. Listing a few here, our water and sewer main renewals, our combined sewer overflow program, our water meter renewals, our lift station renewals, the cell construction at Brady Road Management Facility. A total of $817 million will be invested internally through that utility to ensure that Winnipeg can continue to be a growing and thriving city. Without water, waste, and the environment, we would not be able to do that. We would not be able to continue to grow and to provide opportunity for Winnipeggers. So thank you very much for the department for putting this all together and you know, educating us all. The water and waste piece of the puzzle is not the easiest to understand. It is a huge portfolio, and that is not even mentioning the $2.3 billion investment into the North End Sewage Treatment Plant, which is the key piece of the puzzle that needs to get done. And I've stressed it many times, and I will stress it again. We need a partnership with the province and federal government to continue on and to look at those next phases along the way, to be partners with us, because we cannot go out on this alone. On the tax increase side, I'd like to commend the mayor for stepping up and saying what had to be said, that we just do not have the funds available currently to fund a growing city as it is. Winnipeggers do not want to see their services cut, and I understand that. We want nice things in Winnipeg too, and we will get there. And I am happy to see that the focus is going to be on infrastructure, record billion-dollar investment over this next 6 years, but also the safety of Winnipeggers is paramount. We cannot have a thriving city without residents feeling safe. And this shows that we are committed to the safety first and foremost of Winnipeggers. So I'd like to thank the mayor, Budget Working Group, for addressing that, because I get calls on this, always emails about the safety and the deteriorating safety in Winnipeg, and I hope that this will address some of that, and we'll continue to invest in our Winnipeg Police Service and our other frontline services. I do want to also note that with the increase in our property tax, it has also been acknowledged by the mayor that there will be a new budget management team to explore those saving options that Winnipeggers call for. Winnipeggers always want a good bang for their buck, and that doesn't stop here. So this new team, at the mayor's discretion, is going to dig deep into the years and years of budgets and programs and all of the above to ensure that we are the most efficient operating machine in Canada, I would hope. So thank you very much for the opportunity to sit on the Budget Working Group. It has opened my eyes to a very interesting process and very tough times when it comes to our finances. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duncan. Councillor Lucci, you want to?
Yeah, I was just, you mentioned it, and I wanted to also accentuate it too. The budget working group that you're going to have that'll go on throughout the year. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that. And also the continuous improvement process under the CFO. When we first started this new term, we had a report on continuous improvement, and it's gotten better, and we're doing a deeper dive. So I think that's really important. And then also to the CIO for the effort and work that you've done on the workforce audit. And in the budget, we're allocating 2 more dedicated staff and an external consultant review, because we can't do any of this stuff unless we have our internal operations working and working efficiently. So I wanted to just highlight that. That's very important to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. Just before we call the question, make a few comments. First of all, to echo what Councillor Brody has said, to thank our Tracy and your entire team, many of whom are here in the gallery, for just, again, the outstanding work, the hours and hours of work and professionalism. You know, the average Winnipegger doesn't know who the team is in corporate finance and treasury, but are so well served by the professional work that you do. Please never underestimate the importance of your work, and so thank you very, very much. And to staff members, both in my office and throughout the departments that have supported in various ways, and to our interim CEO, Mr. Armbruster, thank you for your work. And I want to thank Councillor Bwadi for leading this budget process, a very difficult budget process yet again, and coming to the, with us the I would say bold decision of saying property taxes have to go up this year, 5.95%, and that's a significant change from many, many years. And so thank you very much, and to Councillor Duncan Allard for being part of the budget working group, and to Executive Policy Committee members as well. We have before us the tabling of the dates of the standing committees and the Winnipeg Police Board and the Executive Policy Committee, and then ultimately with the goal of taking this budget to Council on July 29, 2025. So that's 49 days. July? It won't be July. I said July, didn't I? I'm really giving people a lot of time. January 29, 2025. To Council, and that gives 49 days for councillors and the public to review this and take a look at this budget. And it is a budget, I believe, that reflects the priorities of Winnipeggers. Winnipeggers have been very clear. We've heard most recently from Winnipeggers over the last couple months through a couple of polls, and their priorities are reflected clearly. They said they want safer neighborhoods, better roads. Are 2 of the top priorities. This budget delivers that as priority investments to help us fund these services in a growing city. And it also is a budget that takes very seriously the need to tackle some of the larger financial risks, like years of underfunding essential services, and to begin to rebuild the financial stabilization reserve so that we're prepared for the next emergency. And I know that is some of the work that Tracy is prioritizing as our CFO, is to make sure that we are working hard to replenish the financial stabilization reserve, find continuous improvement, find cost savings. I know there's a significant target of $51 million to be found throughout this year to help protect the financial stabilization reserve and to help to begin to replenish it. What I might just conclude with then today is the fact that by comparison, even with this 5.9% proposed property tax increase, Winnipeg is still the most affordable city. When you compare Winnipeg to every other major city across Canada, we still have the lowest taxes in Canada for a typical home. And my office has released some stats and data and information over the last several days that shows how Winnipeg's property taxes compare to other major cities in Canada. And the evidence is clear that we remain really one of the most, if not the most affordable major city in all of Canada for which to live. But it's just impossible at a time when the city is growing by 65,000 people in 3 years, and inflationary pressures have been up over the last several years, and we're still impacted by the effects of COVID. It's just impossible to keep property taxes either, at low levels. There comes a time where we have to have a modest increase. This is the year to do that, to begin to fund some of those priorities and begin to replenish some of the financial stabilization reserve as well. So lots of work yet to do within this coming year, but I believe today that we're introducing a preliminary balanced budget for 2025 that reflects the priorities of Winnipeg, and will begin to help us accommodate the needs and the service demands of a growing city. So with that, I will call the question on this matter. All those in favor, aye. Opposed? That is carried. Okay, Councilor Lukes, did you move adjournment?
Adjournment.
We are adjourned.